Welcome to all of you guys. My name is Sheena, and I'm from Gapster Fashion Consulting. I'm a fashion consultant. I'll be your moderator for today for this session. Um, please introduce yourself. You can start. Yeah, you can start. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good morning. I'm Samuel Pranata. I've been working for Marta Tilar Group. That's every.
Does it work?
Hello. Does everybody know Marta Tilar Group? What company is that? Okay, I think you know. Palai, I think I know. You know also. Okay, Marta Tilar Group is considered as the largest beauty company in Indonesia. We have 10 brand in our portfolio. We have integrated operation from manufacturing, marketing, distribution, salon, spa, and also we have a retail shop called Marta Tilar shop. I've been working for Marta Tilar almost 15 years. Right now I'm responsible for the CSR and the corporate communication of the group. And right now I also handle for the sales and marketing division at Marta Tilar Group. Okay, thank you.
Okay. My name is Infany. Hi, my name is Infany. I'm the marketing director for Sephora Digital, which is the e-commerce arm of Sephora. Sephora Digital is my first online exposure actually to digital world. Prior to this, I was with different cinema chains like Blitz and Cinemax. So I'm happy to be part of the digital group.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Prantik from Happy Marketer. We're a APAC-driven, data-driven digital consulting firm based out of Singapore. We also do some work in Indonesia, Philippines. And, well, my day-to-day role is to help advise brands across different industries, including fashion, on what their digital transformation strategy should be. Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. I will start with the first question for all of you guys. The first question is, how do fashion and beauty brands can win the attention and heart of millennials to follow, like their social media, then purchase and becoming their customer? Share an example of a content and experience that shows this. How do you gain millennials followers? We can start with Samuel.
Yeah, I think millennial customer and Gen X customer are almost the same. Yeah, they want to be treated very well. They want to be they want to get pampered by the what do you call the product that they want to have it. But the only things that make challenge is how we treat them differently. Yeah, because the Gen X is they like more on the print advertising. They want to see the TV ad, but the millennial are something that they want to have the something with the technology, with their mobile, their application, their social media thing. So basically the company need to have the visual image of their communication to cater the millennial needs. Yeah, like we need to have like the video, we need to have like a picture for our campaign in our social media, because the millennial like the visual things. They don't like a lot of wording. They don't like something that like conservative thing or the monotone things, but they need to have like more the creative things, more video, more picture on it. So I think we need to adapt with their behavior. Even though probably they are still the same, they want to get better service, better quality, better product, but how communicate, how we deliver our product is something that we need to do differently.
For Infinity?
I think it's pretty much the same as Pak Samuel was saying. Basically, how visual and multimedia is actually very stimulating for them. So we get better engagement, definitely. But I think more than that is also they're very information hungry. So and there's tons of information out there for people to actually learn about anything. Basically, tutorials from like how to do your hair, your makeup, to anything. So I think, even though visual is still key, but the visual have to be able to give knowledge and information, I think.
Pranthik?
I think to add to them, to what you guys said, I think I have a slightly different perspective in that I'm a bit averse to the word millennial because I think it's a bit hazy. And it's a very, if you look at the official definition of millennials, it starts from 81 to 97. Now that's 16 years. And I think if we start clubbing people together as a band called millennials who are born apart 16 years, that's a massive segment. So I think I completely see why they are information hungry, they're born in a different generation, they have visual information needs. But I think as a marketer, it's important to segment them very, very well. Because I don't think it's fair to say that someone born in 81 may not like visuals. Maybe their preference or their definition of visuals is different. So I think the way I would look at it is marketers should look at segmenting and targeting with the goal of personalization. I think no matter which generation, whether X, millennials, Y, the silent generation, I think the way, the direction the marketing efforts are moving is how do you drive personalization? How do you drive utility through automation? How do you provide convenience? So I think I would urge every marketer in the room to firstly question who is a millennial. In fact, if you read research recently, there's a new group called Zennials who are born between 77 to 82. So I think these are nice definitions to have, but I think at the end of the day, you should look at customer behavior, whether someone's born in 57, 81, or 2002. Because there is enough and more data-driven tools out there to study individual behavior. Even within the official millennial category, I think it's important to study because it's too broad a definition, I think. So I think the more you can study human behavior online and at a personal level, I think that would be my mantra.
Thank you. The next question is, what can old brands do, brands that have been around for more than 10 years or so, to attract millennials customers? What are the perfect rebranding strategies? We can start from Prantik.
So I think, again, I'm just going to go back to the same fundamentals. I mean, if a brand that is a traditional business, I mean, yesterday I was leading a panel where a lot of the companies were old school conglomerates. I think, first and foremost, it's very important that such businesses, when you want to attract a new target audience, you don't just start with execution. I think that's a huge risk businesses face. Most clients, when they come to us, they come with a very specific, hey, you know what, I want to attract millennials. Can you help me with a Facebook page? Or today it's, can you do Snapchat or Instagram? I think that's a very, very wrong approach. I think you need to spend some time understanding what your brand is all about. There was a very nice session yesterday following our panel about brand love. I think today most businesses want short-term results, and hence you're looking at transactions. I think whilst that is important, it's important to also understand what does your brand stand for? Are millennials the right target audience? If not, how do you change? How do you evolve? And thereafter, you need to look at some insight and data. I think the worst thing that you can do for your business is to say, oh, everyone's on Instagram, hence I need to be on Instagram. Everyone's doing influencer, hence I need influencer. I think that's very tactical thinking. So again, go back to your core values. What does your brand stand for? Do I even need to target the millennials? If so, what do I need to do? What does data tell me? So spend some time on strategic planning based on data and then decide your own path rather than jumping on the bandwagon based on what is hot in the market. That would be my take.
Sephora itself, for example, it's actually quite an old brand. It's almost 50 years old. So, I mean, one of the way that we continue to basically exist in the market and thrive is by innovating. So, for example, we actually launched a mobile app that has the capability of basically bridging, not being able to touch and test, the lipstick on your face, but actually to do it on a mobile app and see what the shade will look like on your face. So, that's how we continue to, I mean, of course, customization, personalization, knowing your market is key, but, also providing tools that can actually help them, I think it's also important.
For Sam.
Yeah, for Marta Tilar, we have a brand called Sariayu. It's almost like 35 years right now. So probably the millennial customer know Sariayu, but probably they don't want to buy because they feel that, okay, this is for my mom or for my aunt product, it's not for me. So for us, for the group, we need also to adapt with the customer need right now. Yeah, if they want to have the like a visual image or they want to have, they always connected to their mobile phone. So we need to create something that connect to the millennial customer. So that's we also very aggressively to do it our communication through the social media, yeah, through the technology, whereby they can also cater the customer or the millennial customer need. Otherwise, probably they don't know. Okay, Sariayu I know, but probably I don't want to buy because it's for my mom. That's why we need also to keep updating product that we have. We need to keep innovating our formulation based on our core business, core value, which is the natural thing. Yeah, because Sariayu has a strong value proposition. Yeah, we have like a natural product and also the Indonesian heritage product. That's why we need to keep telling the customer our value, our core competencies. Otherwise, the customer probably doesn't know, or probably they know but they don't want to buy it. So at least we need to adapt with the technology, with the customer behavior or the millennial purchase behavior. That's why we can catch up with them. Otherwise, they forget or probably they don't want to buy our product anymore.
Thank you. The third question would be, based on your experience, do you think that millennials will pay attention to printed ads? If so, which one is more effective than the others, the digital or the printed ads? We can start from Infinity.
I guess in the past two industries that I was in, Sephora as well as cinema. I mean, in both we're steering away from the printed media because first of all it's just really costly as well for us. Like for example, cinemas. We used to people used to have to look up newspapers to actually see showtimes, and that's actually very very costly to do in a year. So I think most of the best practices would be to move towards online. But if you do want to spend, some money on printed, I would say a more informative, media such as like an advertorial as opposed to display, would be more effective, I would say.
Pranthik?
Well, I mean, sitting in a digital conference, I think the answer is fairly clear for me. I think more spending is moving towards digital. But I think it also depends on markets. Again, I know we're sitting in Indonesia, but depends. Like for example, some work that we're doing in Philippines or India, I think print is massively big even in those markets, especially if you go to tier 2, tier 3 cities. So is radio. Even in Singapore, radio is still very popular. So I think one has to go back to figuring out which audience, because millennials, like we say, it's a very, very broad. So maybe someone in 82 may not mind a newspaper article if it's informative. So I mean, predominantly the direction is definitely towards digital or at least omni-channel, but you still need to look at which target audience you're going after.
Samuel?
Yeah, I think for the millennial, they don't want to get the information for the a political news or economic news from the print ad. Yeah, they just want to see from their mobile app or probably from the social media. But for the fashion, I think the good thing, the fashion, for the millennial, they still love to see the print ad. They want to see the catalog. Yeah, because sometimes if they just use the online, sometimes it's too fast. They keep changing very fast. Yeah, so that's why for the fashion, I think the print ads still a good potential for them because they want to keep it as their reference. Yeah, as Vanny said that like for the beauty tips like testimonial or probably the beauty education something like that, they still want to see from the print ad. But again, if they want to see the political news or the sport news, they still want to have the mobile app instead of the print ad. So I think it's good for the fashion. Still keep doing promotion through the print ad as well.
Thank you. The fourth question would be, where should brand focus on, offline or online retailing? It seems like online is something big and something that grows really fast, looking at the number of e-commerce that is available in Indonesia and across the world. But should we forget offline or should we do omni-channel? We can start from Samuel.
I believe both of them are still important. So we need to keep both online and offline because from my company, the contribution of offline is still big. Yeah, but we need to start to doing online because everybody is doing the same thing. So if we don't start online, so probably in the next 10 years, we are left behind from our competitors. So basically, both of them are the same important. So we need to sell or we need to create our online as soon as possible. Yeah, but the offline sometimes they want to have some experiences in our shop. So we need to keep our customer. Yeah, they can feel a memorable experience in our shop, whereby they cannot get the experience through online. But if they want to have the product, they can also do purchase from our online. So I think both of them are important. Thank you.
Infinity.
So I look after the e-commerce side of Sephora, but we work very closely together with the retail, which is our franchisee, the MAP group. You know, we still work hand in hand because no matter what, I mean, especially when it comes to makeup and beauty, I think customers tend to want to test and see how it looks on their face, and especially skincare. So I mean, we really rely on the existence of the offline to actually do that for us. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's still go hand in hand to enhance each other, to support each other. Yeah.
Frantic.
I think so. No doubt it goes hand in hand, but I think it depends on the business model. So if you look at, let's say, lessons from other industries, you see for Toys R Us, right? Today we're at a stage where they're closing 180 stores in the US. So offline is very critical, but the behavior that you've started seeing, especially for businesses that started offline first, that sure, they're moving online or they're partnering with the Amazons and Lazadas, but the economics may or may not work because the classic behavior is of showrooming. You go to a store, you touch and feel, but you buy online. So I think what's the devil's in the detail is to figure out what is the right business model. Can you still continue paying rent in fancy shops and pay salaries where people might do the transaction online? If you're a online first business like Zalora, Lazada, they are probably doing the reverse by opening small showrooming outlets where you just go collect or you just touch and feel. But it's a very different approach because those stores are optimized for purely showrooming purposes. You look at Zara, Zara is doing that balance very, very well, where they're trying to say, how do I have my stores, few stores, flagship stores, purely for experience? But I'm not sure whether every retailer can afford that. That's a very, very expensive proposition. So I think you need to look at the economics of how do you balance that.
Thank you. I have a question. It's actually not on the list that I shared, but the question is, what will brands need to prepare for the next generation, which is the Generation Z? What are the strategy for them? Because knowing that their behavior would be different than millennials, what do you guys think that should be prepared from brands from now? Can start from Prantik.
Like I said, I mean, to me, it's about, because I don't think there's any point predicting what the behavior will be. We will never know that. And hence, I think, to me, the principles are very critical of personalization and automation. Because I think progressively, the way I read the market, the element of customer loyalty will anyway start fading. In fact, if you read last month's Harvard Business Review, there's a brilliant article from the CEO of P&G. In fact, the title of the article is Customer Loyalty is Overrated, or if not dead. Because it's a very utility transaction driven market, especially in fashion, retail, where products are not really that differentiated. I mean, Sephora is very different. You know, they have an amazing history where they have differentiated the brand very well. They have a fantastic loyalty program. But for most brands out there, I think the focus should be on, am I giving utility? Am I automating? And am I personalizing? Without trying to predict which channels they will be on. So I think one caveat is never try and predict. 2 years ago, Snapchat was hot. Today, Snapchat is about to die. So I think predicting channels is the last thing you should do. But I think the principles of automation and personalization to me will be massive.
Okay, Infini.
I mean, I completely agree with Prantik. I think it's a matter of really knowing who your customers are and what do they respond to. So I think definitely personalization is key. I just really listen and start looking. I mean, I agree. There's no need to actually predict because trends comes and goes, right? I mean, yeah, exactly. So.
Samuel.
Yeah, I think the key is how we keep innovating our product. I think that one is the key things, because the customer can be changing every time, but we also need to keep innovating. Otherwise, if we don't keep innovating, probably we don't know what the customer wants. So I think it's good to understand the customer need, the customer want, and we need to also keep innovating our product.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. I think the conclusion is that we need to know our customer, regardless of their age, baby boomers, Generation Z, millennials, whatever generation is, we have to understand them. We need to know who they are, and I think every generation has different we have different strategies for different generation, right? And also regarding technologies, that digital is everything now, but we should not forget offline, because offline still is a big thing in a country like Indonesia, which spread out across islands. And I think the session has been really well. Thank you so much for having the session with me here.